So hi dear friends and students, welcome to this my YouTube channel, that is GeoEntire, all about the earth. So today this is again time to share one more lesson with you. So in this lesson we are going to discuss an important topic, that is the study of Quaternary Palaeoclimate. We are going to discuss what is Quaternary Palaeoclimate, and second aspect we are going to discuss in this particular lesson, why the study of Quaternary Palaeoclimate is important nowadays. So these two aspects I am going to discuss in thoroughly particular in this lesson. So we start the lesson. So nowadays climate change is a dynamic phenomenon, and this climate statistics is obtained by average weather parameters. So these parameters like temperature, rainfall and humidity data over a period of 30 years. So on the basis of this, climate stat is obtained. So climate is continuously changing day by day. Whatever climate in the Precambrian period or in Mesozoic period, that is completely changed in Quaternary period or in recent period. So in the geological past, the earth was probably warmer than the present climate or present condition, with little or no polar ice. So extensive glaciation occurred in the past. For example, glaciation occurred in the Paleoproterozoic period. So that is near about 760 to 700 million years. And from 620 to 580 million years, so this is the period called as glaciation period in the earth history. With Paleozoic era alone, there are at least three major ice ages. So one is the Ordovician period. So in Ordovician period, the African continent was located approximately at a south pole and held an ice sheet larger than the current Antarctic ice sheet. The last glaciation period prior to the Quaternary ice ages took place during the Carboniferous period. So at the base of Permian, we can say that is 300 million years ago. So at this time, the Gondwana land ice sheet was centered on the continent of Antarctica, South Africa, Australia and India, with the maximum extent that could have been twice as large as current Antarctic ice sheets. So this is regarding the climate. The world began to cool rapidly in late tertiary about 40 million years ago. By about 2.6 million years ago, now the world had cooled so much that the ice sheets began to form northern Canada and Scandinavia in the Indian subcontinent. So glaciers spread far and wide over Potwar, Kashmir, Kangra and Ladakh, Tibet regions. From this time onwards, climate changes were more dramatic than during earlier geological times. So during certain time intervals of the Quaternary, temperatures dropped to low, forming large ice sheets. However, at other times, the climate was warm, comparable to that of today, or even warmer earlier only for glacial periods of varying duration and severity, with the intervening interglacial periods during which the climate became warmer. And another important feature of the Quaternary was intense dune building activity. So, from time to time, the present day dunes were built during Quaternary, the arid dunes building and the intervening humid phases during Quaternary are generally correlated with the time of peak glaciations and interglaciations respectively. In the deserts of Sahara, which is present in Africa, Indian desert, that is Thar, the Middle East and Australia, the time of peak aridity and maximum dune activity was during the last glacial period, about 20,000 years. So to 12,000 years ago, One estimate is that the tropical arid zones were 5 times larger during the times of peak glaciations. So, therefore, the sea level was lower at these times, water was colder, and tropical cyclones were less extensive, resulting in decreased rainfall. So, these episodes of the intensified aeolian activity are recorded in many Pleistocene records. The aridity peaked in most of the regions with the last glacial maximum. So dune building activity was not essentially confined during the peaks of the Quaternary glaciations. In northern and southern Sahara, dune building activity lasted for different periods. So during glaciation, lower sea levels brought about another important geological effect on land. The rivers started downcutting their valleys and sedimentation pattern changed. There were many other similar changes consequent to the climatic changes during the Quaternary, like lake levels change and lowering of rivers discharge because of the changes in the precipitation. In the last 4 or 5 decades, our knowledge of Quaternary climate has increased considerably. This has been mainly because of the fast advancement in the field of instrumentation, geochemical and geophysical techniques. So which are made it possible for us to measure precisely the climatic changes on scales that vary from tens of years to thousands of years. It is now possible to have fairly accurate estimation of past temperatures and other climatic parameters. So now, why study of paleoclimatic changes? So the study of paleoclimatic changes is important because climatic changes affect human beings, animals, plants. So therefore it is obvious that we should have interest in the subject. By studying paleoclimatic changes in the past, we are able to evaluate the various causes that led to the global cooling. So our warming are able to evaluate the full potential of greenhouse gases, a powerful source of climatic change, and compare their effect on the present climate with that of the past. So this would enable us to say for sure if the consumption of the present fossil fuels reservoirs, the main source of CO2, is likely to affect climatic changes in the near future or not. By knowing the paleoclimatic changes, short and long-term climate prediction models can be generated on the basis of this paleoclimatic study. Historic records tell that the abrupt climatic changes have occurred during the last 2000 years. Paleoclimatic studies would tell us if such abrupt climatic changes are expected to occur in the near future. By scientific study of past climate, it will be possible to anticipate climate surprise in the future. So for the above purpose, it is best to study the Quaternary when overall conditions were somewhat similar to that of the today. From the studies carried out so far, it has been inferred that such conditions existed about 400,000 years and 125,000 years ago. So, most of the recent works confined to the period of the last interglacial high. So there is a boom in paleoclimatic work on this period because it is easy to obtain precise geochemical or geochronological dates of the events of the last 125,000 years. The available geochronological methods are not yet very precise for dating older quaternary sediments and the contained fauna and flora. This has been major constraint for working on OIS, that is the oxygen isotopic stage. So the longest, warmest interglacial of the past, that is the 400,000 years. So when major ice sheets like the West Antarctic or Greenland ice sheets had nearly collapsed.
So this is regarding the what is paleoclimate and why study paleoclimatic changes is essential in the current situation. What are the effects are taken place for the climate change on the human as well as animal as well as plants.
So dear friends and students, we have discussed what is Quaternary Paleoclimate and why study of this paleoclimate is very important nowadays. So I hope this concept you understand thoroughly. If you like my video, share and subscribe my YouTube channel, that is GeoEntire, all about the earth. Thank you.